Right? Buckle up because today we're taking a deep dive into a place that looks like it's straight out of a dream. Chefchaouen, Morocco.
Chefchaouen.
Yep, that town that's all over the internet, bathed in blue.
Oh, right.
We're going way beyond just those pretty pictures, though. We've got this travel blog article, Is Chefchaouen, Morocco Worth Visiting? Discover Why in 2025.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
It is published, like, just last week?
Fresh off the press.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, this thing is packed with details that go way beyond your typical travel guide stuff.
So are we going to figure out if Chefchaouen, the Blue Pearl, deserves a spot on everyone's travel bucket list?
You got it. And this article, it doesn't mess around.
Oh.
It jumps right into the most eye-catching thing about Chefchaouen, the blue.
Well, yeah, it's kind of famous for that.
We're not talking like a few blue accents here and there.
No.
We're talking buildings, streets, doorways.
Wow.
Even some of the stairs are just awash in all these different shades of blue.
It's like someone spilled a giant bucket of blue paint over the whole town.
Exactly. So, of course, the question is why? Why so much blue?
Well, there has to be a reason, right?
And actually, there are a bunch of different theories floating around about it.
Oh, I love a good mystery.
Me too. And the article lays out a few pretty intriguing ones. One is that the blue has, like, religious significance.
Okay.
Both the Jewish and Muslim communities in Chefchaouen, they see blue as a symbol of the sky in heaven.
Makes sense. I can see that.
So you could imagine living in a town where everywhere you look, every corner, every doorway, it's like this visual reminder of the divine.
Yeah, like you're constantly connected to something bigger than yourself.
It could explain why so many people who visit Chefchaouen say it's such a peaceful and serene place.
I buy that. A whole town designed for mindfulness.
Totally. But then the article throws in another theory, a more practical one, you could say.
Okay, I'm listening.
Some people think they started painting everything blue to, get this, repel mosquitoes.
Seriously, like blue paint is a mosquito repellent.
I know, right? It sounds a little far-fetched.
Yeah, not sure how much I believe that one. Any evidence to back it up?
The article didn't get into specifics, but honestly, there's not a lot of scientific backing for that idea.
Figures.
But hey, it's fun to think about, right?
Yeah, I guess those residents centuries ago were the original eco-warriors fighting off bugs with their paintbrushes.
Right. Maybe we'll see a boom in blue paint sales if the mosquitoes are bad this summer.
Could be a marketing opportunity there. All right, so we've got the spiritual theory and the questionable bug repellent theory. What else?
Okay, so there's one more the article explores. It has to do with history. Apparently, back in the 15th century, there are all these Jewish refugees fleeing Spain, and they brought with them this tradition of painting things blue.
So maybe that influenced Chefchaouen over time.
Exactly. It makes sense, right?
It does, but that's what I love about this whole blue mystery. No one knows for sure which explanation is right.
Or if it was like all of them combined.
Right, it just adds to the mystique of the town.
It's like this beautiful puzzle, and you get to be part of it just by walking those blue streets. Actually, that makes me wonder, what shade of blue would you pick for your house if you lived in Chefchaouen?
Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe I'd go for something that, changes with the light throughout the day, something that reflects all the different sides of the town.
Nice. I like that. What about you? I think I'd go with something pale, like a powdery blue. Something that would look amazing in that morning sun.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, but before we get too lost in our blue daydreams, we've got to address the elephant in the room.
Which is?
Yeah, it's stunning, obviously. But is there more to Chefchaouen than just this, like, breathtaking color?
Oh, absolutely. The blue is just the beginning of the story. Don't forget, this town is nestled in the Rif Mountains, which automatically makes it way different from those crowded cities you find in other parts of Morocco.
True. So we've got these amazing natural surroundings as our backdrop. What about, like, nature lovers? What does the article say for people who are thinking, okay, it's pretty, but what would I actually do there?
Well, hiking is a big draw. And the article specifically mentions that the trails around Chefchaouen are way less crowded than some of the more well-known hiking spots in, say, the Atlas Mountains.
Sold. Less crowded is always a win in my book. So if we're talking about views, where do we go to get the best ones?
The Spanish Mosque. It's on a hill overlooking the whole town. Apparently, the views from up there are incredible, especially at sunrise and sunset.
Oh, that sounds magical. Okay, so we've got hiking, sunset chasing, anything for those of us who aren't, like, super outdoorsy.
If you're a history buff, the Kalana Museum seems like a must-see.
Okay.
It's right in the heart of the Medina. You can really delve into the history of the region there. Plus, the museum itself has another one of those amazing panoramic views.
So we've got options for nature lovers, history bucks, and anyone who appreciates a good view. So which category do you fall into? What's grabbing your attention about Chefchaouen so far?
Well, those blue streets are definitely calling my name, I gotta say. What about you?
Oh, totally agree. But hold on, because we have a lot more to uncover. Next up, we're hitting the markets. Okay, so let's dive into the world of shopping. Because No trip to Morocco is complete without a visit to the souks.
Right, the souks.
Those amazing markets overflowing with all sorts of treasures.
Yeah.
The article actually has a really interesting take on what it's like to shop in Chefchaouen.
Oh, how so?
Well, it emphasizes that the experience is totally different from, say, the bigger Moroccan cities, like think Marrakesh or Fes.
Okay, I can see that. So what's different about Chefchaouen?
The vibe is just way more chill.
Chill.
Yeah, laid back, you can browse at your own pace, chat with the artisans, and really just soak it all in without feeling like overwhelmed or pressured.
That sounds amazing. So it's like you actually connect with the people who make the stuff.
Totally. You can imagine having a conversation with the person who hand-wove the blanket you're looking at, learning about their process, like
Yeah,
their family tradition or the techniques they use.
that's so cool. It's not just buying a souvenir, it's a whole experience.
Exactly. Okay, so specifics. What kind of treasures can we expect to find?
Well, being up in the mountains, Chefchaouen is really well known for its wool products.
Right?
The article specifically mentions hand-woven blankets and djellabas.
Oh, those chalupers.
Yeah, those long traditional robes.
Perfect for those chilly mountain evenings.
Exactly. A djellaba sounds like the ultimate souvenir, right?
It does. A piece of local craftsmanship and a cozy reminder of your trip.
I'm sold. Anything else catch your eye in the article?
Oh, tons of stuff. But ceramics and textiles were also mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
And knowing Moroccan craftsmanship, the quality must be incredible.
Can you imagine bringing home like a hand-painted bowl? Or one of those vibrant textiles?
Right, like you're bringing back a pieta blue magic with you.
Exactly. It's functional art.
I love that, functional art.
And for the beauty lovers, the article calls out argan oil and rose water as must-buys.
Oh, argan oil, yes. It's amazing for your skin and hair. And local to Morocco, right?
Yep. And rose water, it's so refreshing, like you're bottling up the Moroccan spa experience.
I love that. Okay, but we can't talk about shopping in Moroccan souks without mentioning one crucial thing.
What's that?
Bargaining.
Ah, yes, the art of the haggle.
It's not just expected, it's part of the culture.
Right. It's not about being like ruthless or anything.
No.
It's more about this friendly back and forth.
Like a little dance.
Exactly. You're building a connection with the seller, and eventually you both agree on a price that feels fair.
You get a good deal, they make a sale, everyone's happy.
It's a win-win. So have we convinced you to leave some room in your suitcase for all those treasures?
My suitcase is already overflowing in my mind. Okay, we've wandered the blue streets, imagined ourselves wrapped in cozy djellabas, haggled for unique finds. All this exploring has made me hungry. What about food?
Oh, good point. The article doesn't go into a ton of detail, but it does mention that the food scene in Chefchaouen is just as vibrant as the town itself.
So what can we expect?
Well, think about it. Chefchaouen, it's kind of at a crossroads.
Okay.
You've got those Andalusian flavors from Spain, the Berber traditions from, the indigenous folks of North Africa,
Uh-huh.
and of course, all those classic Moroccan spices and
It's
techniques.
like a melting pot of flavors.
Exactly. And the article points to a few dishes you absolutely have to try.
Okay, hit me.
Well, first up, the classic Moroccan tagine.
Ah, tagine.
Right, you can't go wrong with a good tagine.
You can practically smell it, all those spices.
Yeah, that slow-cooked stew, usually with meat and vegetables, all simmered to perfection in that cone-shaped pot.
Oh, it's making my mouth water just thinking about it. What else should we add to our culinary adventure?
Well, the article mentions that couscous is a Friday tradition in Chefchaouen.
I love couscous.
Imagine this, like a huge steaming platter of couscous piled high with, all these colorful vegetables, maybe some lamb or chicken, and then topped with this rich, flavorful sauce.
It sounds incredible, perfect for sharing too.
Exactly. Now, for the more adventurous foodies out there,
Yes.
Chefchaouen is known for its local goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
Yeah, it's creamy and a little tangy, so delicious, especially with some fresh bread.
Okay, goat cheese is on the list. What else?
Last but not least, there's a dish called zalouk.
Zalouk. Okay, what is that?
It's a smoky eggplant dip.
Okay.
So roasted eggplant, tomatoes, garlic, all blended together with spices that give it this amazing smoky flavor.
Sounds interesting.
And of course, you've got to have it with fresh bread.
I mean, let's be honest. Pretty much everything in Moroccan cuisine is amazing with fresh bread.
It's true. So are you ready for a Chefchaouen feast?
My stomach is already rumbling. Okay, but before we get too carried away with all these culinary fantasies, let's get practical.
Okay, good idea.
What do we need to know before we book that trip to Chefchaouen?
Well, the article gives us some great tips. For starters, buses are the most common way to get there.
Buses.
Yeah, they're cheap, pretty comfortable. Plus, the journey itself gives you some stunning views of the countryside.
I'm all for scenic bus rides. What about places to stay?
The article highly recommends staying in a riad. You know,
Araya.
those traditional Moroccan houses?
Oh, right, with the courtyards.
Exactly. Imagine stepping into a riad, all that intricate tile work, the lush plants,
Uh-huh.
maybe the sound of a fountain in the courtyard. It's like stepping back in time.
So peaceful, so authentic.
And definitely Instagram worthy. Now we can't forget about etiquette.
True, true. Any cultural customs we should be aware of?
Oh, absolutely. Morocco has a rich culture, and it's super important to be respectful. The article highlights a few things.
Okay, let's hear them.
First off, modest dress is important, especially when you're in the Medina.
Make sense?
It's just a sign of respect. And always ask permission before you take photos of people.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's not just about being a tourist, it's about being a thoughtful guest.
Totally. What else?
Learning a few basic Arabic phrases can go a long way, even something as simple as shukran, thank you.
A little effort makes a big difference.
It really does. Oh, and it's also important to be mindful during prayer times, especially if you're near a mosque.
Okay, so be respectful and observant.
Yeah, exactly. It's a chance to experience a different side of Moroccan culture.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground. We've explored the mystery of the blue, imagined myself bartering in the soups, and I'm pretty sure my stomach is already growling.
Me too.
But the big question remains, is Chefchaouen worth visiting?
I think, based on what we've learned from this article, the answer is a resounding yes.
It really does feel like Chefchaouen has something for just about everyone.
We're right.
Like we've got those stunning blue streets, the peaceful mountain trails, the markets, the food.
That incredible mix of cultures and flavors.
Yeah, it's that rare combo of, beauty, serenity, and getting to really immerse yourself in a different culture.
It's what so many travelers are looking for.
Absolutely. And speaking of experiencing that Chefchaouen magic, I actually came across something interesting in the article's FAQ.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It mentioned that November is considered the off-season there.
Huh. Interesting. I wonder what it'd be like to visit Chefchaouen without all the crowds.
Right, it'd be a totally different experience. Like,
Right.
imagine those blue streets, but without, tons of tourists around.
You could probably connect with the local culture on a deeper level, too.
Exactly. And the peace and quiet, I bet it'd be even more amplified.
Makes you think.
It does. Sometimes traveling during the off-season, it's like you see a whole new side of a place.
It can be so rewarding.
It can. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Chefchaouen, we're leaving you with this question.
Okay.
Would experiencing Chefchaouen with fewer tourists be the ultimate way to unlock its magic?
It's a good question. Maybe a November trip to the Blue Pearl is in order?
Something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, thanks for joining us.